Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 536. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Adam Vale.
How you doing? How you doing?
Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
And Brian Manjoma.
What up? What up? What up?
All right, back with another one. So as usual, OBS does something new, and I'm like, huh? So for some reason, like me, Manny, and Adam are like video. The feed is directly over OBS. So that's why, like, I kind of started a little bit. I'm like, where's my next thing? You know, and I can't even move these things. Maybe that's why I fucked up last time. I was trying to do an update.
They're always changing shit. That's why I stopped using
This is interesting.
Always updates
and under on the right hand side, excuse me, left hand side, like it has everybody in the chat has like a little Discord thing. It's like it's a Discord overlay. This fucking weird, weird. I even have the right shit. Like that's why basically I have like the intro overlay. Did I have our main overlay here? I couldn't find it because it's hidden under our fucking video feeds.
I mean, every app has like whenever there's a new update, that splash screen of like new features, new add-ons. I'm telling you, for OBS, you can't just click. You have to read that shit because they change things. They read.
I think you're right. Yeah,
it makes so many drastic changes to the point that you know what? I always say it. Gotta have the email. They need to send emails with a full list. Don't do the splash screen because you instantly when you want to start working, to be like, I close this. I don't got time for that. Oh, now you don't know what anything is. That's what you get. You don't know.
This is stupid. I mean, it's not affecting anything now, but I just have to keep a mental note. Like, this is where this overlay is. This is where this overlay is because everything's hidden by the video feed. But I guess if I click on here, now I can suddenly see it. This is retarded. Anyway, we're back. Carlos is on vacation. As always, he's always taking vacations. Brett may or may not show up, and Chris, he didn't say he wasn't going to be on, so who knows? You know?
He's got a baby. And that can change in a minute. Sorry,
in a
He's
second.
not a baby anymore, man. That's a little girl now.
Yeah, but still.
Which is like two, three. Right?
No, this is she 4?
No. 4? Holy crap.
Yeah, she's 4.
Yeah. She was just born a year ago.
She's a pandemic baby.
Yep, she's a pandemic baby.
Oh,
yep.
Damn.
It's crazy, man.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
What's going on, Philly Fred? Yeah, everything's an update now, man.
Philly Fred. That's a cool name. There you go.
Yeah.
Philly Fred.
Shout out to him, man. We used to work with him back on SCFU and Play.
Yep.
All right, man, let's get into it. We got questions for tonight. Hold on. Killer Instinct says, Adam without the Scully.
I know. I didn't realize it until now.
Wait,
I was like,
wait, what is he talking about?
Well, I think no hat. I usually have a hat or something on.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what and I'm not.
Is that another name for hat? Scully?
I don't know. I mean, it's on your skull. It's whatever you.
No, it's the little woolly hat. He usually has a wool cap on.
I always have some. I have either cabbie hat. I put a cabbie hat or something like that. I have on, or I I think last time I had the Knicks one. But they got eliminated now, so there goes that.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I didn't.
Sketch says, got stuck inside and ended up with a weak pullout game, Chris. I think it was intentional. That maybe it was not an accident.
No, I think it's one of those things like we might as well do this now. He talked about it, starting a family at some point, but I guess when everyone's indoors, it's like, you know what? It's perfect
do it
timing.
now, yeah. That kid was in an accident. Sketch. By the way, Sketch, he's known Chris forever, right? So when I told him, like, Chris can't play as much because he's a dad, he's like, wait. When you have a kid, I'm like, the kid's 4 years old, bro. Hilarious. Reggie says, yes, get hip to the slang, Tony. You live in New York, after all, the birthplace of all slang. Not all slang. There's some weird fucking British slang I don't know about, and some other fucking Southern shit,
There's some goofy speak of the devil and he shall appear.
There's Chris.
Yeah, Chris, we talking smack about you reproducing. And
Sketch was talking shit, man. He said your pullout game got weak during the pandemic. I'm like, no, the baby was intentional, bro.
Yeah.
No pull-out game. I thought Skull originated. I've never heard that fucking term.
You never heard Scully? I've heard Scully.
No.
I mean, hell, there's
Oh,
even
yeah.
It's the cap.
that's an old
you
term.
know.
Yeah, it's anything
Yeah,
you
man,
put on your
that,
head.
yeah, I mean that is NYC slang.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah,
the skull
I knew
before.
exactly what he was talking about when he said it. So
Yeah. Well, I never heard that one. News to
I mean,
me. So thank you.
Just haven't been.
I haven't been in New York.
hanging in Brooklyn enough.
Yeah, well, thankfully so. Fuck Brooklyn. I can't stand that place.
Here's an old slang. He's old like G monies. Yo,
I know
G,
G.
what up,
Of
money?
course, I still
Like,
use
like,
G
yo,
money. I still use that
G money?
shit.
All right,
I still Cold Dudes Busters. You know, Studio Gangsters. Remember that one?
Shit, I remember, and I don't know if he was. I don't know if he created, but he was always saying Fun Master Flex. He's like, yo, that shit's ugly. He kept trying to say ugly. I was like, I don't know if that's gonna catch on. It never really did. Disappeared, but it was Fun Master Flex trying to bring
Tony
his
is a
own slang.
snapbacks kind of guy. I know snapbacks. You know.
All right.
That's it. Oh shit, we got everybody in the building right now. What's going on,
Party
Brett?
people, yeah.
All right, we got everybody here. I mean, yeah, because Carlos is on vacation. Perfect. I'm glad we were dicking around for the first couple of minutes. Let's get into it, man. Questions. All right, first up, we got Jolly Yellow Nerd. Kind of a little bit of a re-asking of last week's main question. With chatter of Expedition 33, quote unquote, setting a new standard, I have to ask, is it really setting a new standard, or is it continuing the standard set by Baldur's Gate 3? Remembering back when Baldur's Gate 3 released, there was a lot of chatter about how that game set a new standard. So when we were using the phrase setting a new standard for Expedition 33, we're more talking about like how to develop a game, not really for like the gameplay itself. Gameplay, you know, correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't played it, is fairly standard turn-based. There's parrying and some other cool little things, but we're mostly coming at it from like, hey, look at this, a team of 32 people and a dog with less than $10 million sold a fuck ton of copies. So we're talking about that. Like it kind of sets a new standard to like the overbloat that's happening in the industry and the soft crashing we've been seeing. So we're really coming at it like that. We're not really coming at it from a gameplay standpoint because it's not really setting a new gameplay standard other than it shouldn't be a standard, but it's like, it's just good. It's just a good game. So that's where we're really coming at it from, So hopefully that clears that up. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Yep. I couldn't have said it. Could have said it better myself.
Yeah.
I've been big on this. Like I've been preaching for a while now about how there's a lot of studio bloat, a lot of pork belly shit that goes into making games, and honestly a lot of people who are just kind of riding in there, not necessarily doing a great job, but still collecting a paycheck. And that this is really going to show that smaller teams and not even necessarily small teams, just teams that, in 2010 we would have considered an adequate team size, are capable of making fully fledged AAA games, especially with things like Unreal 5 and the tools they have at their disposal. So it's upsetting the game industry in the sense of, like talent and not a lot of people and not a lot of money can still produce something that is a fully fledged AAA game that becomes a cultural phenomenon and sells millions of copies and, does all the things that they want it to do, all the things that they're chasing. And they're kind of figuring out the old adage that you can't put 9 pregnant women in a room and make a baby in a month. That's just, it's not how it works. And sometimes just throwing more resources at stuff doesn't expedite the process. It doesn't make a better product. Doesn't really do any of those things. And so it's kind of upending how games are made. And so it's a new standard in terms of like what it takes to make a game. And yeah, it seems like an excellent game, and it should be, it is kind of setting a standard in terms of like quality that we can expect. It seems bug free and feature complete and story driven and audience focused and all of those things that it should be. So even in that sense, I would agree that the thing with me is whenever anybody says that like, oh, don't expect this to be the new industry standard, it's always coming from developers who work at a company that produces games that are in every way the industry standard. So honestly, whenever somebody says that, I just don't believe them, because I think it's said something more out of fear than setting expectations. The rest of Ubisoft wants you to think that this isn't going to set a new standard. Don't keep expecting bangers from small studios. But what they're really saying is, as Ubisoft, like, we can't do that anymore. Now, there's a lot of companies that have turned over and bled their talent over the years, and due to just hiring by stupid practices or not scouting talent appropriately, or just letting bloat and I'll say it, DEI practices take over in some of these instances, some of the key talent that made a lot of these games amazing has left. Like, the reason BioWare doesn't make another Dragon Age like they used to isn't necessarily because they made the choice not to. It's because they can't. Because they don't have that talent in-house anymore. And so I think you're running into a lot of that too.
Yeah.
I guess that's...
I think for the case of Expedition, also, like, for as much the as well as it's doing and what it's doing, it's being very smart about it. You couldn't choose a better a type of game to essentially present a very controlled controlled experience. Expedition is a linear game. Expedition is an RPG. Expedition, it has very directed shots. Obviously, you haven't played the game, but there's a lot of sections where the jank shows. There's assets that aren't amazing looking. There's some motion capture that literally, like they go through each other. But these are also things that would also be sort of excused even in a game like a Final Fantasy X. So in a way, it's sort of a weird throwback to the way games used to be made.
Yeah. Oh, real quick.
I think it's also an emphasis on, like.
Go ahead. No. Just real quick, I want to address something, J Shep here, just so you understand where we're coming from here, because I think you're coming at it from. Okay, I'll just read the comment. Tony, I can argue that Expedition 33 sold well because everyone knew it was a good game before it released. It's a AAA. If a AAA game did the same thing, it would have had the same result. Yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with any of that, but that's not the conversation we're having. We're talking about that this is a small team that had a small budget, and they were able to not only like contend with the big dogs, but beat them. That's the conversation. Right? We're not having the conversation of why did the game sell well. That's a whole other conversation. But you are right. It sold well because it's a good fucking game. If this was a legitimate AAA game, yes, it would have sold very well as well. But that's a different conversation. I just wanted to get that straight.
If anything, J Shep, it's an actual proof of practice of what guys like Shohei Yoshida and the former head of Sony were saying, or PlayStation were saying, where essentially we need to lower we need to bring back the budgets, not has incredibly huge teams, essentially make a middle A title. That's what they did.
Yeah, you're saying that a small team was able to make a good game. That's literally what I said at the top of my rant here. Yeah, like that. Well, again, that should be. I want studios to take that into consideration. We don't need 3,000 people to make a game that's going to flop, right? Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? Why not let a small team that's actually passionate about what they're doing do their thing? But to Brett's point, yes, just because the team is small doesn't mean they're automatically going to make a good game. But if the game bombs, you haven't lost hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's not a huge investment, and that's the biggest issue with that's the biggest issue with innovation. That's the biggest issue with a couple of different things that are ailing the AAA industry. It's like you like people are always asking like, how come always it seems like graphics are going up, but not the actual innovation within it? Because they can't afford to innovate. They have to follow the trends because their things are so big. And then also there's also the issue with the players ourselves, with our expectations, how everybody wants the everything inside of every game.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, okay, I got an open world. I can, I have instant customization. Everybody's expecting fucking Skyrim
Yeah.
or Skyrim and GTA, which is should not be the case.
You're right. You're right. On that note, just before I forget, because I was looking up online on Reddit and stuff like, oh, what happened with Doom? Why is no one playing Dark Ages? And people like, well, they didn't have multiplayer, and that was a downfall. Everybody wanted to play multiplayer. But you see, to your point, that's it. People like looking at all the stuff included, like, what? No multiplayer? I don't want it. Were you really going to play that much time in multiplayer?
No.
Yeah, they weren't.
No.
And again, we always say, look at the stats. Only 25% of people beat games. J-Shep goes, he goes, question. It's easy to have media darling games once or twice a year. How many of these games a year can we get before people get bored of AA games? I don't think that's the right question. A good game will always sell. It'll find its audience. Yeah. A game that's targeted for a specific audience, just like this one was, will always sell. That's done well. A well done game will always sell. If it's focused. Because you do have situations. Where a well done game may not sell well. Doom the Dark Ages, but for a game like this where it's like really focused. Like, we are targeting these people, and people who are underserved, turn-based players and stuff that want crazy-ass graphics. Bam, you kind of hit gold. And then you have the snowball effect, right? Those motherfuckers are happy, word keeps spreading, and then other people jump in, So, yeah, you're right. Not every game's going to be a success story, just because it hits these exact parameters. But I still think that's better it's better to have 10 AA games made out of modest budget and maybe 6 of them do well than have 2 giant AAA games that flop, and that cost hundreds of millions of dollars. That's what we're saying.
Well, that's how like PlayStation used to function before, right?
Yeah,
that's what they used.
That's how a lot of studios used to function.
They used to have a lot of smaller studios, and then obviously they have their big investments. That's just the way it used to work. And then those little investments, if they did well, they got a bigger budget, and then they can move on and forward and go up there.
Yeah.
I we're not saying like but there is an issue with the industry where, again, there's so much being put into these titles where they're not even able to make back what they spent to create them.
Yeah.
So why are you making big investments?
Yeah.
Like, make 1 or 2 big investments. Don't make every single one of those things a big investment.
I think the dots that I want to make sure that are connected here are like, if you bet the farm, you got to make that bet a safe bet. Mm-hmm. And in the artistic industry, you have to take risks in order to innovate. And so now with things like Expedition 33 showing that it's possible to make high quality games with smaller teams on smaller budgets, it shows that it can be done the way Manny's talking about, where you have a bunch of the way they used to. You have believe it or not, Rockstar used to make other games than Grand Theft Auto. And so if you look at the proof, like, okay, so small teams of talented people can make games. I mean, the whole reason that people who made Expedition 33 made it was because they couldn't get it greenlit by Ubisoft, so they left Ubisoft to make that game. I mean, that game would literally not exist if Ubisoft was in charge of these people. So what the big revolution that's connecting the dots here is, okay, so if you have small teams that can make great games that don't have to bet the farm, that means that if they don't all succeed, then you don't have to lay off the whole studio. And so you can start taking some more chances and innovating more, and we can start to see some progress in gaming instead of the kind of stagnation that is leading to a very, very real potential of a market crash. Like in the terms of like not stocks, but like a video game crash, an industry-wide crash, the way that Nintendo had seen in the 80s. Like we're just so the faith in the systems it's kind of breaking down. So to see small teams be able to produce quality product means that, hey, maybe we can get away from this whole every game needs to be $500 million and have a 2,000 to 3,000 person development team. And oh, by the way, if it doesn't sell 30 million copies, you're all fired. Because that's just terrible and dystopian and unsustainable. So this is just kind of proof of concept that it can work a different way. And I think that's why everybody's making such a big deal out of it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on because we do have other questions. All right, another one from Mr. Jolly Yellow Nerd. We got 2 questions about this subject, people, just so you know. With Wonder Woman and Black Panther being canceled, do you think this means developers are losing faith in comic book games? I don't think so. Look at Marvel Rivals. That thing's doing gangbusters. I think it's with those specific games. Something, I don't know what was going on behind the scenes, but something was going on with those specific games that they were, the big publishers were like, cancel them, you know? I'm not trying to get into some of the stuff I've heard, especially with Black Panther, SBI involvement. If you know those acronyms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So that may be the case there. And Wonder Woman, this is Warner Brothers, bro. They act shit like nothing. They're pretty much the new EA,
Bro.
you know?
Bro, the Black Panther game had 0. They made a point to have 0 white developers because they didn't feel they wanted to make a space where people could feel comfortable not being around white people. Like that shit was a PR nightmare and probably a terrible game all rolled into one. They were smart to dice that shit. The Wonder Woman game, like, oh man, there's been a tone shift. There's been a definite tone shift, and you know, it seems like a lot of this vocal minority isn't buying games. So maybe all the people yelling for something like a Wonder Woman game, you know, maybe there's not as much sales there as there is just people on Twitter yelling about it. So I just kind of
shout
feel
out
like
to
it makes
Adam, by
smart
the way, with the hard
business
hat.
Yeah, man, well, you covering your head? What's up with that?
I forgot that I picked this up at a flea market for $2.
Yeah, there you go. There you go,
There
Reggie
you go.
versus Scully.
I got my Scully on.
But yeah, no, Brett, I agree with that, especially with Black Panther. I think there was probably so much chaos behind the scenes and stuff. They probably didn't know what the hell they were doing. You know, and the game just, you know, whoever was in charge was like, okay, yeah, you guys are done. Fuck that. And we're closing on your fucking studio, you know?
I mean, the thing is that we didn't hear anything about this Black Panther game. Didn't it get announced in 2023?
I don't know when the hell it got announced.
It wasn't. There wasn't even any gameplay or graphics shown. They just showed you a logo.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely think there was some turmoil within the studio. And with Wonder Woman, Brett, you may be onto some. Maybe people, you know, it's like, you know, maybe they saw the wind shifting.
Well, I mean, maybe because here's the thing: like big guys don't make those sorts of connections. What they'll do is they probably said, "Oh well, you know, people don't seem to like these other DC heroes as video game characters, especially since Suicide Squad didn't do so well. All right, let's close down the Wonder Woman game."
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think it's like people don't like superhero games. Again, Marvel Rivals, one of the biggest games of the year. You know,
here's the thing: like we're talking.
No,
about
it's just.
people,
no, I'm just answering.
I'm
answering the question. He's like, are people not interested in those games? No, they're interested. You know,
I think there are people. Yeah, I definitely think that people have an interest in Black Panther, and I mean, people seem to like the other game, that the Captain America game with Black Panther, and at least from what they saw,
they're interested. Yeah,
they're interested in that. Yeah, so it doesn't. There's nothing against that what's going on there. In fact, people thought that was the game that got canceled, and not the one, not this one, because they didn't even see it. But you know, I don't think there's not an interest in any of these characters. I just think that the fact is like whatever was going on behind the scenes, and also like, you know, again, I talked about this before, you know, the thing that we're not supposed to mention that got leaked. about Marvel's licensing fees. Maybe EA didn't feel like paying for that or thought it was worth it.
Yeah.
But again, the whole industry is all like, we already just saw something about another studio, guys that did Bulletstorm. They're cutting down their staff, and they're working on. They didn't even mention the projects they were working on.
Oh, man.
They just mentioned the behind the scenes code names.
People who fly, some bad people that fly.
Yeah, people fly. They have 2 of these games that are under code names. They don't even have names. They can't say the names. They just said that they had to stop them because of whatever company that they're working for. So everybody's pulling the belt tight, and trying to assess what's going on.
Yeah, what's
Obviously,
up?
they're.
Yeah, what's up, Rich?
What?
Quick comment to make. The word on the street is one of the games they was working on was with Square Enix. Now, the last time they worked on a game with Square Enix, it was what's that game? That looter shooter game came out a couple of years ago.
Not Wanted, right?
Home Stars.
I know what you're talking about. Was it Foam Stars?
No.
But
you know what I'm talking about. That's it.
What was the name?
Because I think I think Brian said Outriders.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
that
funny.
Right, though. People like that game.
Not really. The game did not do that well. By the way, I was literally having a conversation about that game at the office like a month ago, and we're like, "Yo, what was that game again?" They're like, "Oh yeah, that game." Like we all forgot the name of it. I went to they flew me out to LA to an event for that shit, and I completely forgot the name of it. I reviewed it too.
Me and a buddy of mine, we finished that game. That was a good multiplayer game. People would just
I finished it too. Trash, man. The game was not good. Go ahead.
One last thing I will add, though, it's unfortunate to hear about what happened with those other 2 games, but I am very curious to know what that means for Gears, because this same studio is helping out with the other Gears game. So
Look at
we'll find out, I guess.
Sketch says they're still making DLC for it. I guess some people do like it.
That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
It was big. It was making a lot of money, and it was always a high player base on all
That's crazy.
platforms. Yeah,
I remember when I first shipped, people were like, "This game sucks," including me. All right, I guess the players, spoke differently. All right, so there you go.
Power to the players.
Power to the people.
Yeah, what's up? Somebody was.
I still maintain that this was some purple washing bullshit.
Yeah, the game was not good.
I mean, wait, y'all know what purple washing is, right?
Actually, I have no idea.
Okay, purple washing is a corporate term used to describe using progressive terminology and ideas to help further brand and brand recognition. So, like Kleenex for gay rights kind of thing. It's a business decision.
Wait, for Outriders?
No, not for Outriders. This is just a generalized thing that I've recently found out that there's a term for this shit that we've been talking about, and it's called purple washing. When people act like they're taking a progressive stance as a company because they care, but really it's just for profit, right?
Oh,
it's called like purple washing.
So you mean what we're gonna see a lot of this month? That's what you're talking about,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh man. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. I'm glad, because that's the thing, Brett. It's like, I know what that is, but I didn't know there was a term for it,
Well, and here's the thing. If there's a term for it, that means that
bullshit is a good name for it too. Brett,
bullshit is a good name. Yeah.
Yep.
But if they have a term for it, that means they're referring to it in boardrooms. They're referring to it behind closed doors, which means they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't want to spend the time to talk about it every time, so they just kind of came up with a fucking name for it, right?
Oh, God.
And, I want to say the Black Panther team was, again, only 30-something odd people. They weren't setting those guys up for success, right? And that was just some, feel good. Yeah, we're having a Black Panther game made by an all black team. A bunch more women. All right, cool. It's just some purple washing bullshit. And like every other goddamn company under the sun, as soon as the election landed the way that it did, they went, "Oh, the wind's blowing the other way," and they just dropped that bag, or dropped that like yesterday's news, man. So I think that the reason we're not seeing a Wonder Woman game is because faith in the American want to see a strong female character has subsided, which is honestly kind of a fucking shame because I love strong women. I love Tank Girl. I love Samus. I don't
Xena,
know that I would.
warrior princess.
Fuck yeah, Lucy Laws. Oh god, yeah. It's a thing that I have noticed a lot since the election is people swinging real hard the other way. So any project that has
like
any hint
Zuckerberg
of
and shit, suddenly he's all like, "Hey, look at me, we're all for free speech." Really, Facebook? Okay, bro.
Yeah. So like a bunch of shit wildly reversed course, and I feel like both these games just they fall under that purview, right? Like
I think you're probably right.
I think the Black Panther game was honestly, I don't think that they were set up to succeed to begin with. And I don't know much about the Wonder Woman team. Maybe that was a bigger team and that had more assets, and they just decided, nah, this is just going to look like Spider-Man, but strong lady Spider-Man, and there's enough superhero fatigue games.
Goddess, it would have been Goddess of War. I guarantee you that.
Oh God, yep, nope, yep. Yeah, no, I just don't think people want that. It's cool if you make a good story, but like a lot of times they were standing on identity politics instead of facts and stories and talent, things like that. And I think that they realized real quick that shit wasn't going to fly by the time these games came out, and so they decided to save themselves some money.
Yeah, what's up, Rich?
Simple as that.
Oh yeah, I was just going to add. I agree with everything that Brett said. It is disappointing because I know our very good friend Chris. He was looking forward to that Wonder Woman game, and I will add that Monolith was working on that game, so I know Monolith is a good studio, but I don't want their reputation to be ruined if there was stuff in that game that nobody wants to see. So it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to this other question because it's related. Shout out to Jay Shep. He asked us a bunch of questions, and we'll answer all of them. And he is also with us tonight in the chat. All right. Doom the Dark Ages and Indiana Jones, quote unquote, flopped in sales. The Wonder Woman and Black Panther games were also canceled. Were canceled, I should say. Could royalty cost Marvel's Blade to be canceled as well?
There's a possibility. Yeah,
could be.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, also they might have been timing it to go along with that non-existent movie that's not happening anymore. So yeah, it definitely has high chances of being on the chopping block.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I don't think it's going to be licensing that's going to potentially kill the game. I think everything Brett just said, that may be a contributing factor to this too. It's like, we may want to stay away from this one for now, Yeah. But also, like you said, Chris, if there's no tie-in movie, what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it usually does. I mean, like they're not usually doing it like there's nothing to tie in a new Captain America game with a movie. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, there is.
Well,
they had a Captain America movie this year.
They had a Captain America movie, but that's like that movie is way off from whenever that game came out.
Well, the character hasn't had a cinematic feature in 20 years, so they were hoping to revitalize the brand, and then you cross promote against that, right? It's not Captain America or anything because you had all the Avengers movies and all those movies beforehand. So if you did games, you didn't need anything. Blade needed that kind of revitalization, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
That the weird thing though is that like the Blade that they show in that game, it seems a bit more modern. Where I heard that in fact it's been said that the movie that was going to be made with Mahershala Ali was going to be a period film. In fact, because that film got canceled, the movie Sinners actually made off pretty well with it because the designers actually did all this period work on that film, and then they ended up working on Sinners, and it all got applied to that.
Oh,
so
wow.
Theoretically, Sinners is
it's the Blade movie.
Kind of a Blade movie.
It's the Leftovers. Yeah. Oh wow.
It's
Blade was a sashimi, right? Like you got a bunch of leftovers, whatever's left, you chop it up and you eat it. Hey, good on them, man. Good on them.
Yep.
But yeah, it's possible that this game might get canceled too, but we don't know. We'll see.
We don't know how far it is.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know how far it is. We don't even. At least here's the thing. It might be a little bit further on than that Black Panther game because at least we saw something. We didn't see anything about this Black Panther game. Like again, a logo at best.
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have anything, to be honest. But yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, what's up?
Quick comment to make. Yeah, I do think that is the correct answer about the licensing, but I think the answer that Jay Chef was looking for, well, this game is associated with Microsoft, and we know Microsoft has they have not been doing too well with how they handle certain studios, how they've been going about this entire generation. So we cannot rule out the fact that it could get canceled because Microsoft decides they want to cut the project. You know, we have to wait and see what happens. I think we'll probably get some information about this game at the Xbox Showcase next Sunday because I think it's about time for an update. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on here. Another one from Mr. J. Shep. True or false? The only person who benefited from the Activision Blizzard deal was Bobby Kotick. He definitely made out well, you know.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. He had his golden parachute to get out of there. So yeah,
the gamers, Game Pass subscribers made out. They got their game. They got their Call of Duty. They didn't have to pay for. They got all those other ones that are coming in now. They didn't have to pay for. They paid, but just not full. But
Microsoft benefited. Xbox did very well. You know, the Xbox division. You know, Microsoft? Microsoft is now the number one, or was the number one game publisher last year because of this. You know,
but at what cost?
I feel like we sold
Diablo on the altar.
$69 billion.
It's just like what we saw in the movie Sinners. They had to sacrifice something, and they're sold.
Yeah, so a lot of people benefited. It wasn't just Bobby Kotick. Yeah, gamers benefited, Microsoft benefited. So yeah.
The Microsoft investors get to hear that they get to hear actual numbers that their game division is doing good instead of hiding it under a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
They get to brag about the company they put all the money into has Call of Duty.
Yeah, Manny benefited. He got to play Indiana Jones without buying an Xbox. You know.
Right,
oh yeah, man! I got to play. That was a fun game.
There you go. So yeah, lots of people benefited. All right.
Yeah, and who said it? When did they come out that
Diablo did?
Diablo did not.
Yeah, no. Well, that's its own fault before all that fucking $20 for bullshit. But I didn't know. I thought Indiana Jones did well with the sales on the PS5.
On PS5, but I think he was talking about like on Xbox maybe.
Well, it's Game Pass. I mean, nobody's gonna buy it if you got it on your service.
Unless you're Expedition. You know, that game did well. It's on Game Pass. Just saying.
I gotta. When I boot up my Xbox, it has a menu right under. First, it has all the most recent games, whatever I'm playing, and then another menu underneath that, and it shows like new games to Game Pass, top rated. And Indiana Jones was always number one on that list. Yeah. So it's like in your face, letting you know, yo, this shit's here. It's here.
The game sold less than 1 million on PS5. I'm guessing it sold well that first week, and then that was it. So it was an old game, you know.
Here's the thing: like after the fact, sales don't really. Once something has already run its course, it's usually difficult, especially on console games, for it to capture that again. This is a tale as old as time. Remember when Tomb Raider was locked down to Xbox?
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
None of those games did when they got released on the PlayStation. None of those games did anything.
Yep, that's true.
Weird. Because we brought this up at least for the PC. Remember with Borderlands 3, we're like, oh, it didn't sell well. I was like, no, it sold well. You're like, no, it didn't. And then we saw some ridiculous numbers. And that was a year delay when it was just Epic exclusive, at least for the PC side before it went to Steam.
Oh, did it have 3 million players? Jay Shep, here we fucking go. My favorite metric. 3 million players playing Indiana Jones. Is that him? Oh God. Yeah, that's a telltale sign right there. All right, this one's fun. Richard, this one's for you. Jay Shep wants to know, what is a typical day and night like at Summer Game Fest?
Okay, cue Carlos's audio, even though he's not here. That is a phenomenal question. Yes, sir.
Drinking and loose women.
That's it.
So
I don't
yeah,
know.
so
That's what
a
he-
typical, so a typical day at Game Fest starts at like the show normally starts at like 10 a.m. You have to get there early to get inside. Usually I have appointments I have lined up to see a lot of different games, whether it's the hands-on.
How many days
or-
are you staying there? How many days you stay there at this convention?
Well, the actual event is going to be a 3 days. So this upcoming Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, those are the 3 days. But I'm going to be there earlier because I'm actually going to the Summer Game Fest live stream. That's the day before, on Friday. But yeah, pretty much if I have appointments, pretty much that entire day from like 10 to 6, because that's essentially, it's pretty much like like you're going to work, because yeah, you are there to work. You're there to preview games, and write up about them later, so on and so forth. So, but yeah, I have to have appointments set up the entire day to see different games. Of course, they have food trucks at the event, and they also give you vouchers. So you're not really spending a lot of money. Once you get through that door, you're not really spending hardly anything.
Oh, that's cool of them. They give you E3 never gave you that
E3
shit.
didn't give you none of that.
Oh, yeah. That's something that he definitely did better than E3 as far as that's concerned.
That's good.
And it's different types of food trucks. It's not just like 2 trucks. Last year they had all types of food there, different cuisine. That was very cool. And yeah, pretty much that's it. After you end up in your presentations, you may have other events going on. One thing I did coordinate last year is the Xbox Showcase was happening around the same time. So I actually went to the Xbox Showcase. Then I went to Summer Game Fest to play some of the other stuff after they made their announcements. And of course, Ubisoft, Tony's favorite company, they also had their little Ubisoft Forward last year. So I was able to play some of their games, and all this stuff is like in walking distance. It's in a very close area to each other. So yeah, but overall, that's essentially
That's much better than E3 too.
Oh yeah.
But it also very much sounds like E3. You get up in the morning, you go to whatever event is going on, then you pretty much stay at the convention center most of the day doing your appointments, and then leave if you need to go check out other stuff. All right, so yeah, it's different, but it's also the same. Very, very interesting. The food voucher shit, yeah, we never got that at E3. We had to pay all that shit ourselves.
That would have been so good, man.
Food vouchers, fuck.
Paying LA prices, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Even the food trucks were expensive out there.
And we're saying this as New Yorkers. This is expensive out there, bro. Fuck.
Oh yeah.
You come back home, you're like, oh shit, this is cheap.
Like, yeah, I want to get a pizza and a drink. All right, what's your financing process? What? I just want.
You got a layaway plan,
Layaways.
All right. Last question here from Mr. J. Shep. This one's kind of interesting because Carlos isn't here. But it's for everybody. Have you played Nightreign? If so, what are your thoughts? Now, J. Shep, I'm not going to take this very harsh because I know you're a loyal listener. I'm surprised you didn't ask me this question since I have played this game and I've talked about it many times about my experience during the closed beta a couple months ago. I even talked about it on the Thursday show. But unless something's changed in the last couple of days that somebody bought it here, I'll give you my quick rundown as I have before. As you could see, I'm not playing it because I was not happy with the experience. It is not Elden Ring. It is something completely different. It's basically Fortnite with an Elden Ring skin. You have the world kind of shrinks and stuff, and you're forced into the middle. The only difference is you're not killing other players; you're killing NPCs. The whole loop of it is, it kind of takes place over the course of days. So the whole thing is you got to kill a bunch of random monsters that are around the map to level yourself up, right? So you have are powerful enough to beat the boss, right? Beat the boss, then you start the next day, do the same thing over again, and you can't really go off exploring. You can, but you'll eventually be forced to the middle of the map when everything starts shrinking. I did about 2 or 3 runs in the beta before I'm like, okay, I'm bored. This is stupid because you can't really go off exploring. The bosses were just like retooled versions of bosses from like previous Souls games. Like you had Margit. He was the first guy I faced. Then there was a Dark Souls 2 guy there. I forgot who the third one was, and there was another boss and stuff. But yeah, it's not the Elden Ring experience that we've wanted. So that's why I'm like, nah, I'm good. So yeah, that's my take on it. He goes, my bad, J-Shep. I've talked about this game before, bro. But yeah,
For Bison, it was Tuesday.
yeah. I guess he didn't care. Oh, he only wants to hear Carlos's answer though. But is anybody here gonna get this thing? And I'm specifically asking Chris and Brett.
I did get it.
Uh-oh.
And so I started it up, and I was disappointed because first it didn't let me pick like a class. It just like said, "Oh, you're a wilder." I'm like, "What?" And
That's
then
stupid.
I went and I got up to Margit, and there was another guy with me. I didn't know who he was, and it's kind of weird because once you get killed, you don't die yet, and the other player has a chance to like whack you until you get up.
Yeah,
which is a hard way of like recovering an ally, right? Usually it's like you touch them or you'd think it would be like sacrifice
Kneel
a flask
down.
to raise
Yeah.
your ally
no,
or
you just
something.
beat him up.
No, you hit them. Yeah, you do attacks on them to get them to stand up, which is very bizarre. And he beat me, and then I ended up in the round table hold, and I was like looking at what you could purchase, and it's all like just consumables for like Tony said, the treks through the day. So it's not like, let me buy a sword, let me upgrade the sword. No, you just have to find that shit in the world. It's very, I don't know. It doesn't feel right when I was playing it.
Yeah. That's pretty much my experience.
Ooh.
And Brett, what about you?
Miyazaki
You're our
didn't have
resident.
nothing to do with
Yeah,
this.
you're a resident Souls guy here. Any interest in Nightreign? Oh, he might be muted. That's all right. But this is not the Elden Ring you were looking for.
No. It doesn't even play the same because you have like you can't like crouch or stealth attack anymore. You run and you have a faster run. Like the button you would hit to like crouch or anything, that's gone. Like you have this run and then you can leap and cartwheel and all this shit. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, and you can like drop
like,
from like 50 million feet in the air. It's like you don't take any energy.
And there's an extra
there's no
bar
fall damage.
for your ultimate arts. Like you build up this bar, kind of like a fighting game. You build up this power, and then you can use it. I'm like, this is weird. It's bizarre. It doesn't fit in with Souls at all. Like you don't have any of that shit, and all of a sudden you have this.
Yeah, Brett, did you get to play it, Mr. Murdoch? There you are.
No, honestly, I don't. Money's tight. I don't know if I want to spend $40 on that shit.
Don't.
It feels like I'm gonna be real here, because I hate dogging on anything from Soft, and like it is Elden Ring assets, and I do like the basic fighting system of Elden Ring. I find it very satisfying and makes the dopamine go ping. Now, here's the problem though: is it subverts everything I like about the genre. It subverts the kind of slow environmental storytelling. It subverts the like, yes, every time you get together with a group of people, you end up booking it, but this seems to be like that squared, right? Like you just everything is moving so fast, and Elden Ring, like moving super fast isn't, gotta go fast isn't really part of the formula. And y'all know me, I'm a lore hound, right? And like Nightreign just straight up doesn't even try to have lore. I mean, it kind of does, but not in any sort of Souls fashion, and nothing overarching. And half the stuff is there just because the director thought it would be fun. Like there's no lore. I can't lore hound this game. I can't.
It won't. It's not in the way you like, Brett. The lore dump is like right in the beginning of the game. So once you get your ass handed to you, you get this long ass story.
Yeah.
Before you get dumped in the round table hold, you get this whole the night guy came in the world and he's darkening the Erd tree and all this shit. you get just this exposition dump, right? So that's the lore, and that's it. After that, there's nothing else. But and then other things you won't like is there's constant tutorials popping up in your face like every second. Like while I was fighting Morgan, I swear like 5 different windows popped up. Oh, you can use the ultimate arts now. Your bars right. I'm like, what the fuck? Like Elden Ring doesn't do any of that. No Souls game handholds you, right? You got to figure that shit out. Either a character will tell you or something you'll find out along the way. No, this shit just stops you mid game, pauses the game, and it's like you have to hit this combo of buttons right now to do this thing we're telling you.
Yeah, it fundamentally, and I'm all for Miyazaki giving another director a chance, but like the director fundamentally does not understand what this audience wants, and I think he's trying to reach a different audience with an asset flip, right? Like this feels like the tech bro that comes in the office like, all right, here's my pitch, right? Kids like Fortnite, but Fortnite players aren't playing Elden Ring. So what if we took Elden Ring and made it more like Fortnite, right? Like now I know the Elden Ring players won't like it, right? But the Fortnite players will be able to like expand our player base. And Miyazaki was like, as whatever, as long as it's not going to cost us anything, it's fine. Just have the assets to whatever, you know. I swear to God, I smell nepotism here. But it just the pacing, the build crafting, the customization, the exploring, the atmosphere, everything seems broken, even down to like the sense of like I don't want to be rushed. Like, yeah, we end up moving pretty quick anytime you get in a group of 3, but that's just because you got 3 people all trying to outpace each other to kick the next guy's ass, right? That's not like that's a fun thing. That's not a stress thing, right? Like, and I just can't help but feel like, you know, making me min-max my time usage is not an Elden Ring buy. Like, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I've heard a couple. I think I heard one other person say this, and it really resounded with me. Elden Ring is my cozy place game, right? Like, you know how people like you hear about people playing their cozy games, like their Stardew Valleys and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like Elden Ring is my cozy game. Like just existing in that world, exploring, you know, killing some of the guys that I know that they're always going to reliably be there, right? Like that. I forget the name of the first little testing grounds that you run into. That's where you go to test all your weapons, right? Like it's a world that feels quiet and calm and lived in, even though it's desolate and dead. It's a very unusual experience, but like it's a vibe. And Nightreign just kind of pisses on that vibe. And I want to be like, but I enjoy playing Elden Ring, and I guess I go pretty fast every time I'm in a group of 3.
No, this is different, bro.
And it might be nice to
this is different.
like have an excuse to try some different weapons, but like, yeah, it's different. It's just a different game. It's not the same in any way. So I don't know if I want to support it like with my wallet wise. Like I don't want Miyazaki seeing this and being like, okay, so this is what more people want. Like, no, this is not more people want more. I mean, people would like persistent multiplayer, but not like this.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like you know, people on the PC have already figured out how to get rid of the thing where whenever you beat a boss, the other character disappears and they go back to their own world. That would be a cool one if they could figure out how to get the persistent multiplayer to work with their game. And I feel like they missed the boat on this one. It's like, no, if you're gonna do this, well, why not give the world and give all the different things a part of it? But then again, maybe they did. You know, again, maybe it's a cash grab, and they just like, all right,
it's not that type of game.
Also, why do you have to pair up with 2 other people? You have to do a 3-way matchmaking.
Yeah.
And I read something that they're actually patching 2-way matchmaking in there, but that's how most people play. You usually summon your buddy in there. Like it's very rare where you have 2 or 3 people join you in a match, right? But they only made it that you can have 2 people or you're by yourself, which is weird.
So yeah. If you're looking for, an Elden Ring experience, this ain't it. Look elsewhere.
Hey, go back and play Shadow of the Erd Tree. I'd actually love to see No, I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up the Steam charts here. If y'all want to give me
But
a
just
second,
like-
I wonder if Elden Ring has had an uptick.
Give it a shot, man.
Just pre-warn you now. This just the same thing with like Duskbloods is not Bloodborne.
Yeah,
Play Bloodborne. Yeah.
because
You're not
remember
gonna get that
we
experience.
we got hyped initially, and then we're like, wait, is this like Nightreign? Yeah, it is like Nightreign. So that's not gonna be. I'm already checked out. You know, I'm already checked out, bro. So forget that. All right, move on here, and Brett, feel free to interrupt if when you got those numbers. Actually, hold on. Illustrated Dio, what's going on, brother? He goes, night, fellas. Check out y'all discussion as I head to work. Yeah, man, that's what we're here for. You know, keep entertained. You know, make sure those trains keep running. You know, my man works for the MTA. You know,
All right.
good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, what's
Just
up?
add to Brett's number finding since I'm on Steam.
Yeah.
Anyway, Nightreign peak today was 308,000 players
Shit.
on Steam.
Boom! Oh my god!
Wow!
There we go.
Damn.
That's huge. Yeah.
Huge.
You say Nightreign was 300,000 players today?
Peak, yes. It's currently sat at 230,000.
Look at that.
What's its all-
right?
What's
Bring
its
that
all-time
back.
peak?
Steam doesn't tell you.
Because this game hasn't been out that long. Yeah, it has to be out
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
week.
But that's like what triple already Doom's numbers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
easily. But I think it's more than triple. You know,
Make more,
Part of me
yeah.
wants to try that shit just as an excuse to play more Elden Ring.
But it's not Elden Ring.
It's not,
though.
Brett. It's not
That's-
going to
I
give you that.
know.
You're going to go in there. You're going to want Elden Ring. You're not going to get it. You're going to be disappointed. Don't trust me at this,
Truth.
dude.
Truth.
Don't do it.
Don't fall for the rope and dope.
On the well, here's the thing. I actually heard, and I found this very credible. Like, somebody floated that it seems like Nightreign is a combination of all the top mods for Elden Ring, kind of remixed into one.
What do you mean?
Because like one of the top mods is like remixing the game, right? One of the top mods is persistent multiplayer. I could look it up more and do more research, but
Yeah,
I don't
Put
feel like
those
it.
in the main game. Like
Yeah, and that's the point. I feel like somebody's nephew looked at that and went, "What if we just put all this shit together?" And that's why I feel like I smell nepotism. Like, and you know, they convinced somebody like, "Look, you know, we can just reuse the assets. We don't need to hire any people. We can, you know, slam this shit together in like a month. Like, think of all the money we could make." And like,
We could
it
get
makes me-
Monty Video to talk about it in like 300 videos. It'll be great.
Ah.
well, here's the thing that we're making fun of that, but that person, from what Brian's saying, is sounding correct.
Yeah.
That's
Unfortunately.
the problem. Yeah.
See what the drop off is.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
But we'll see. Right now, I mean, those people playing though, they made that purchase. They're already sold on that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't a free to play game or anything. So those people bought the game. All right, let's move on. Questions. Ooh, one of my favorite fans, Drunken Demon, asking us some very fun questions. First one: does anyone have any horror stories about game save data? I'm looking at you, man.
Of course, who hasn't? Everybody's had it where the shit just gets lost or it doesn't carry over. I've had all kinds of issues with game saves.
Yeah, what was the worst one?
So,
For you?
shit, the worst one. Trying to think, what is the worst game save data? I don't know.
Want me to come back to you?
I guess if I go way back, I know it's something that I can't pinpoint if it was Metal Gear or if it was Final Fantasy, but it was back with the PlayStation and we had the carts.
Yeah.
And I remember moving them back and forth and taking one out. And they said don't take it out when something's going on. And some game I was playing was writing at that time. I don't know what it was, but I just remember next time I went to play a game, I popped in and it just could not see the save file. Like it saw the little image of the game, but when I click on it, it did nothing. And I was like, great, I fucking lost it. So
that sucks.
That was That was it. And then of course you got all the shit with the Switch with save files, and I wound up getting the OLED and certain things not carrying over and shit like that, and like, oh, it's tied to your other console. Like, why would you do this? Why? What? It's like so dumb.
Yeah,
But,
Manny.
the one that comes to mind is in PlayStation.
Yeah, Manny, what about you?
More recent ones was 2 games specifically, Guardians of the Galaxy and Black Sad Under the Skin. So Black Sad Under the Skin had this weird glitch where if you did a certain thing toward the end of the game, it wouldn't register it. You couldn't get the platinum trophy. So I constantly had to wait for updates and all kinds of stuff. So that one was annoying. And then for Guardians, there was a thing where if you the collectibles would glitch. So it involved, in order to reset everything, the game would saves data in 2 portions of it. There's a progress save, and then there's like a collectible save. It's almost like it's 2 things, and it reads the collectible save section whenever you go back to the Milano, right? But the thing is that thing can glitch, and if it's glitched, the game will freeze, and then you can't do anything whenever you pick up these items. So what the workaround is, you have to delete the save data from the save data from the game. But as long as you have your progress data, it'll repopulate all of the items again, and then everything will run fine. But it was a bitch. Let's see what else. Other memory things. I've never had memory data go bad. But I have had, like situations where you accidentally save something over something, and then you kind of screw your game up a little bit. I've had things like that.
Save
but never
files.
like,
I've done that. Save
yeah,
files.
like in other words,
save points. Over save points.
Yeah, like the thing they say you keep to keep multiple saves. Well, this was one of those situations where I screwed up and didn't do that, and I saved over progress that I didn't over something else, and I screwed something up. So yeah, but eventually I was able to sort of fix it. But yeah, it's just stuff like that. But yeah, never losing any data. Well, save data. But one thing that did happen to me, and this involves something, I a while ago, Tony gave me a a solid state drive to put my games on for the PlayStation. He had gotten it for review and he didn't want it anymore or whatever. So he gave it to me. Recently I just found out that hard drive died. And that had a bunch of old PlayStation, a bunch of PlayStation 4 stuff. Granted, it had my save data on there, but granted, I had already successfully moved all that save data over to PlayStation 5, and it's still on the old 4. But on that thing was PT.
Oh man.
Granted, but the save is I still had PT PT on my old PlayStation 4, but I did lose something if it wasn't still on my 4, but yeah, that game would have been lost because you can't re-download that game ever again.
Yeah, that's lost. But I forgot how, but I ended up losing it. But no, yeah, I haven't really had any big ones. I've gotten lucky, but the main one that happened to me was when my PS3 fat died. Like, I was like, oh shit, I had to do this was the first instance where I went to YouTube to learn shit. Basically you could revive the PS3 if you do some soldering shit, some fucking heat gun stuff. Craziness. So I bought a fucking heat gun, bought some soldering stuff. I did all this stuff, and I brought it back to life just so I could transfer my save data over to the new PS3 that I had bought. All of my game save data was fine, except whatever reason, I guess there must have been restrictions. All of my Capcom games deleted, everything. The main ones were Street Fighter 4, and the one that hurt me the most, Resident Evil 5, bro. Man, you remember we beat that game. Got the platinum and everything. Yep. I lost all that fucking save data. I was so tight. And it was only with Capcom games. There must have been some restrictions or something they put in place. All my other save data was fine. Until this day, I'm mad about it, But thankfully now that we have, since the PS4 days, cloud saves, and I haven't had any issues, but that was the main one, man. When my PS3 died and shit, all my Capcom save data gone, Sucks. Yeah, I got the yellow light of death. I got that shit, bro. Fucking bullshit, Mr. Davis.
I think everybody in here, with the exception of a few, have seen the yellow light.
Yeah, with the PS3 fat. Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
Chris,
got
you're
Red
still.
Ring. I'm an Xbox, but I didn't have no yellow on the PlayStation. You know?
Yeah.
Chris,
got it,
you
yeah.
you even you
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brett, got any save data horror stories?
I mean, nothing is truly bad as you guys. I mean, I had an entire Dreamcast shit out on me because I plugged in a Mad Catz controller and I lost a bunch of stuff from that. But
Fucking Mad Cats, man.
yeah, but nothing nearly as bad as any of you guys. For the most part, I've always been really super protective of my memory cards, and like if I had a memory card like where I was going somewhere, I would copy my saved data over. It was like I always had like, you know, your official PlayStation ones, right? And then you had like the clear ones that were kind of off brand, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, you know, like, this one's in like that you know, green jewel case. It's like a Mad Catz one or something like that, right? And like that'd be the motherfucker that I would like load my data on and take places, because then I'd be able to eyeball that shit and be like, that green one, that one's mine. And if somebody was like, nah, man, nah, I got me one. Nah, man, got my name on it. It's cool.
Bitch.
So yeah, I was always terrified of losing my saved data. Like I'm not just gonna walk around with that shit.
I don't blame you.
So even back in the original PlayStation day, I remember like spending an extra $30 just so I could have a travel card.
All right. Brian, you're next. Would you like to answer Drunken Demon's excellent question?
Yes, I would. And somehow this guy is a reader of minds because I happen to have my very first issue with save data that happened last week.
Uh-oh.
He's a known scholar and a gentleman, so you know he's on top of shit.
He's very good at what he does. All right, so story time. I started playing Final Fantasy 15, yes, that one.
Oh.
For the Platinum Trophy. And as you know, it's a very large Platinum, because again, it's an RPG.
Yes.
So I started playing around start of March, and I thought, okay, I can get it done within 6 weeks. It's not a big deal. Just need to pace myself. But then Wild was out, so I had to put it down, and then I picked it back up again in May. So started playing it again in May when I came off, and I was playing it like really, really a lot, maybe like 2-3 hours per day, and it all just added up. And it gets to last week, and on the 27th. And what happened is I just tried to pause it, and then just get a black screen, and nothing's happening. So I started pressing some buttons. I could hear the buttons. They were making the right noises. For example, the pause noise or the attack noise and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, this is very strange. And then suddenly the console just turns off. It's like, okay, that was very weird. Yeah. So turn on the console back on again, and then boot up the game, and then it loads in, and then just says your data has been corrupted. I'm like, okay, it happens.
It does that, but then you can press a button and it fixes.
It should repair it, right?
Yeah.
It should repair it.
He still has more story.
Tell me it repaired it, Brian.
The story gets like the ending is like one of the best twists I can make, and it's real as well. So it says a thing like, oh yeah, there was like a save that you did this morning, this time. Do you want to restore that? So I hit OK. Screen goes black. Wait for 5 minutes. Nothing happens. Okay, so I thought, okay, maybe something went wrong. Restart the console again. Typical IT stuff. Turn off, turn on again. So once again, data says it's corrupted. Do you want to restore? I hit OK again. Again, 5 minutes of black screens. So I'm like, okay, this is very strange. So I go back and say, okay, let's redo it. This time hit cancel. Again, black screen. So now I'm just locked out. Okay, this is a problem. But then I was like, oh, I'm a PlayStation Plus subscriber. I can just restore the backup from the cloud. Now, when do you think the last time the backup happened? Keep note that the date that this happened on was the 27th of May. Have a guess as to when the backup was.
like that you said date,
27th
not
of May.
time.
Okay, we have 27th of May from Manny. Anyone else have any guesses?
I have no idea.
You would think it would do that every time you save. That you're hoping in the back end. It's like, oh, you save locally. All right, let's sync. Let's sync.
Okay.
Are you gonna say it's synced the corrupted data?
Oh
Is
no.
that where you wanna go?
No.
It can't do that.
I'm gonna guess
it did
2
not do that.
weeks.
2 weeks. So that would be 13th. Okay. All right. So all of you are wrong, and you guys are way off. The last time it saved was the 3rd.
The May 3rd?
Oh
No,
Wait.
March 3rd.
March 3rd?
Wait, did you first launch the game?
Wow.
No, I first launched the game in February. So the last time it went up was March the 3rd. So throughout my whole time in May, there was no backup made
Holy
in the cloud.
shit.
You didn't sync anything? Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, I should have saved you for last. No one's topping that story. Oh my god.
Oh, no. The story gets better.
Oh
Keep
no,
going.
that's
He
too
said there was a
much, too
twist.
much,
He
too
said There
much.
was a twist.
That's not the twist yet, trust me.
I thought that
So I'm
was
like,
the
okay.
twist. Shit.
No. So just for I guess comparison. So I was at level 57 with around 50 hours played, and that save was level 8 with 3 hours played. So practically wiped out 50 something hours of playtime just gone. So I'm like, I have two options: either say I'm done, I'm defeated, not getting the platinum, or B, say screw it, I'm doing this again. Luckily, I am very hard-headed, and I said I've already done all the quests and I already know how to complete them since my memory is quite decent. So I can probably just go through and then just power through everything else. So I thought, okay, let's reboot. So I pull down the save, start up the game. The game loads fine. So I'm playing in for like an hour on that day. Again, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning at this time. So I'm playing along, and then the screen goes black.
Oh, fuck.
PlayStation turns off. I know, Adam. That's the best part. I'm like, oh, what is this? So turn on PlayStation back on again. Your save data has been corrupted.
What is happening?
So I'm like, what is going on with this game? Like, this is incredibly weird.
Did you, in the meantime, did you try switching to another game just to see if all your saves were? Because that's what I would like. Is it just this game, or is it all my games fucked?
Yep. Just to compare, because I read online that one of the things that you can try and do is try and delete the game and reinstall it. So I did that, and then Tony, you know how games will do that thing where it's like, oh yeah, your game has been installed, you can play now.
Yeah.
And then you hit play, and then you can't actually play anything.
That's right. Yup.
It did that. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go play a game that works. So I played Wilds for like an hour. Yeah, Wilds was fine, no issue. So it reinstalls, everything's back in again. I start to play again, and again, it's not fixed it. So I'm like, what is going on? So I looked through like the history of PlayStation issues that I was getting, and I type in the codes like CE dash and then 7 numbers and whatnot.
Shit.
So I go through some stuff on Reddit, and then some guy says, oh, you can try to boot up the console in safe mode and then rebuild the database. So I did that, wait 5 minutes, come back, I start the game, and the game works now. The save data has somehow fixed itself.
Which
save data?
Your old,
what date?
Yeah.
No, the new one that I made, the one that's like when I was level 8.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys get the twist yet?
Yeah, that it actually worked.
Yes, I could have done that fix this whole time and not lost any
Yeah,
data.
on your old, the old day.
And-
That's why I said you the new one. Yeah.
Oh shit.
And that's the twist of the whole thing.
M. Night Shyamalan, man.
What about? Does it say anything on the cloud? Like, is there a way that you can change the sync time or how frequent that it's? Because that sounds too crazy that it's over a month, and then it's like, oh, sorry, we didn't sync at all.
I don't know.
I don't think
I have
so.
no
'cause
idea.
in the settings, it's either like you manually sync it does auto sync, but I don't
Yeah.
remember there being a
And change
setting
it
to
to
send the interval.
I
It
would
just
never
does it when
think
it
they would
feels
last
like
that
it.
long. In my mind, when I saw that, because I remember when I had the PS5 for the 4, and then you had to move save files and
Yeah.
do that whole thing because it would say certain games wouldn't work, and it wasn't on the cloud. And I don't know. I just assumed that it was automatically every time I saved that it would then say, all right, you're saved locally. Let's see if this matches with the server. It doesn't. Okay, let's update. I never thought that it would keep such a lag of
Yeah,
time.
that's
before-
crazy.
And again,
There-
I didn't
you
do
know-
anything weird. Like I literally did the usual: you save, and then you hit quit to menu, and then you're on the menu, and then you quit the game, and then you turn off the console. So
I would have quit the game.
nothing
I would have
weird.
done something like that. 50 hours of my life, I can't get no. Even if you could fly through it.
Yeah. Oh, damn, that's
That's a lot.
crazy. All right, that was. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to top that, but yeah, that was great.
No.
All right, Chris, you're next. Follow that up.
I can't. I can't.
That's a wild
I can't
story.
even remember.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I can't remember the last save data. I had the most recent thing I had was a compression failure with Pacific Drive. Like the save ballooned up to like almost a gig, and
What?
causes
How?
all sorts of frame rate issues. I don't know. I don't know what I did or what happened, but my save data is huge, and it causes all sorts of issues with the game. Like I get frame drops when I get in and
Where
out
are
of
you
the
playing it
car.
on
On
PC?
PS5.
PS5? That's weird
Yeah.
for a PS5. PC I can understand because PC glitch. That sounds like a PC type issue. But
Yeah, so the game it still works. It's still playable. I had it corrupt once, and what happened was I was in the middle of the game, so it wouldn't save to the first slot. So I kept saving it to different slots till it actually saved. Like it kept saying, "Oh, data corrupted." I just went, I'll just keep doing this till it works."
Oh.
And then one of them worked. So then I was like, "All right, slot 7 is where I'm playing now," and I just kept
I
going.
don't know. You got one on PS5, and Brian has one. I wonder if this is an issue, something going on where it's corrupting the save file, like on the back end. The OS is having issues.
Yeah, I mean the rebuilding the database thing is ridiculous. Like having to do that. I don't know why it doesn't have something to do that.
Oh
Itself.
man, I had to rebuild the database so many times on PS3.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm at least when I have a power outage. If I have a power outage, and I always leave the PS5 on standby, so that counts as it being
Yeah,
hard,
that's
hard
the
shut off.
problem.
And when you
And
turn
just
it
have
on, you get the
repair,
beep.
yeah.
You get the beep, 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 and it's like, hey, we got to reboot. Repair this. You want to do it? Of course. Who says no? Who
Peace
says-
out, J Shep.
Tell-
Yeah.
Why even peace out? Why even put an option no? Well, of course, someone's gonna. Everyone needs their shit repaired. So anyway, you click repair. You see the bar. It takes a while, but then usually it comes right back up.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right.
You know the one.
Yeah, what's up?
You know the one thing, the biggest thing that Microsoft has over PlayStation is the how often they update your save files. I can it's almost noticeable where like was able to jump from the Hi-Fi Rush PC to different PC versions of it. Like I ran it on my work computer, and then I ran it on my normal computer, and it just did it right away. Same thing with Hellblade. It just worked. I feel it's weird how PlayStation has to go through all this, this cock and bullery in order to be able to just like it should just do it as soon as it the thing has been updated on your end. But how many times have you seen that stupid thing like in the notifications as a like save upload error?
I've seen that on PS5. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just stupid. Yeah. All right, Rich, you got any save data horror stories?
Yes, I think that Brian has topped all of us
Oh,
in
yeah.
this category. I will add, however, I did experience an issue recently with a game called Blades of Fire, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Now, I've been reviewing this game on PlayStation, but I also had got access to a code for Xbox. So I went on the Xbox to test out a few things. And it's a situation where right at the start of the game, I go into the I guess you could say the safe area. I turn around, and then all of a sudden the character just gets stuck.
Oh shit!
Like just stuck there. You can't move. So I try resetting the game. Start the file up again. It's still stuck there, and I'm like, well, it's a good thing that I didn't try to review this on Xbox, because I don't know if that's an issue specific to Xbox. There was a patch that came out earlier today. I don't know if that's fixed the issue. But yeah, aside from that, I have had the issue in the past with other games where I have a corrupted save file. And then after you spend so much time playing through a game, then you try to start it back up again. You can't access it because it's corrupted. That is one of the most aggravating things to experience. It hasn't happened recently, but fingers crossed it doesn't happen moving forward.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. All right, we got another question here from Mr. Drunken Demon. With Doom the Dark Ages introducing us to the shield saw, what is your favorite combination of weapon or weapons? Adam can answer for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
You already know, man, the chainsaw gun from Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
That's your favorite.
If we're gonna have both of those, like you can just like swipe on both ends and just see like body parts explode, and then throw all that blood at the camera, and then you have to press like, I don't know, 2-button combination to bring up like windshield wipers, whoop, 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 to just clear the blood off the visor. That would be awesome. And then I have my full body suit on, so I can feel like just body parts and blood like just squirting. That'd be awesome. That's my three. There's my 3 combination. I need the bodysuit.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna be pedantic, and just say the gun blade from Final Fantasy VIII. That thing has always really been cool. Just the whole concept. Wait, you got a gun and a sword? Really? It's cool. I don't like the game, but I like the weapon. What about you, Manny? What's your favorite combo weapon in the game? You're muted.
Combo weapon, huh? I mean, definitely I would go with, I'm not like too big on like guns and games. But yeah, definitely the chainsaw gun from Gears of War, as Adam said. That's probably one of the cooler ones, where it's not a bayonet. It's literally a chainsaw at the end of your gun.
Yeah.
Cool idea. I wonder why we don't have that in real life. Like, what's the logistics? How come we can't make that in real life?
I think somebody tried. I think somebody did make a chainsaw gun in real life. Go to YouTube. Somebody's done it. I know somebody's done it. Right? But it's not. It's not very practical, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Because you gotta have gas in it. It's like this fucking giant thing.
Yeah, but then you could still you have it like a backpack, it's just like a flamethrower type of deal.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want that. Somebody shoots you in the back, you explode.
Well, I mean, that was an issue with the flamethrower.
Yeah, exactly.
A guy on your left, Manny on the left, Carlos on the right. Yo, watch my back. Don't let no one flank me, or else I go kaboom. There's a problem here. So
yeah, Brett, favorite combo weapon in a game?
Gunstar Heroes, the homing plus the fireball.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because it gave you a fireball that you could just like control around the screen. It's pretty dope, pretty fun. But Gunstar Heroes, all the weapon combinations of that game were so good. And that's still one of my favorite classics to this day.
Yeah, anytime we shout out Gunstar Heroes is always a good night.
I think a foreigner. Jukebox Hero.
Yes. All right, Brian, favorite combo weapon?
It actually would be the Gears of War one if I didn't play Space Marine and I found out about the chainsword. So basically, it's a sword with a chainsaw at the end.
It's cool. Chainsaw on everything. Put chainsaws on everything. That's what we're getting here. It's like we love chainsaws on everything. Put it on a hammer.
Doom did it with the shield, so yeah. It seems to work.
Oh man, what I'm telling people need to play Doom Dark Ages.
It's great.
Whenever you get your weapon, that chest opens up and he grabs it and he looks at it, and then I remember with the shield, and he pressed the button, went, and I was like, oh, and just start cutting people. Or cutting demons.
It's great.
Oh man, so good.
All right, Chris, favorite combo weapon?
You mentioned some good ones. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I love the gun lance in Monster Hunter.
Hell yeah.
I do like using that, and I mean, stabbing. You get a shield, you're stabbing people, and then when you're ready, you just start shooting them. Right? You start shooting monsters, and you load up specialized ammo, which causes all sorts of effects. So that to me, that weapon, I know a lot of people don't like it. I like it.
Yeah, you know what? Since you
That's
brought it
all
up,
right.
because I was thinking, like, am I cheating with this? I'm gonna say now, since you already brought up Monster Hunter, my main weapon in Monster Hunter, the Charge Blade, because you kind of get it's two weapons, but it's also a third. Basically, get a sword and shield, right? That's one. You know, I guess the shield would be two right there, and then of course a giant axe. So that's a nice combo weapon.
I'm surprised nobody said anything from Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They
that's
have
it.
some, yeah.
That gives some. Most of the weapons are like they are two weapons.
Yeah, that's right.
One.
I know one of my favorites was double. You know. All right, and Rich, what about you? Favorite combo weapon in a video game?
I'm right there with Adam. But we got to give a shout out to Gears of War. I mean, yeah, I enjoy that weapon, the chainsaw. But if this was specific to the Doom Dark Ages game,
No, it's not specific.
Pretty much.
Yeah, any game.
okay, well, any weapon you use with that shield, that shield, you just feel like a badass with that shield in Doom Dark Ages.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, you use the super shotgun is ridiculously effective. I was surprised how effective it was when I used a regular shotgun, but no, you completely obliterate people with that super shotgun. So, but yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Next up, we got a couple of questions from Black Viet. You know what? I'll move the second question up because it's Doom related, and we get to tell some history here. And let me finish the question before you guys jump in because I know somebody's gonna go, "What?" He goes, "What makes Doom games fun? I've always heard about Doom from the early 2000s, actually earlier than that, but I've never played it before. Is it the story or the gameplay? I hear Doom and just move on. I never saw an advertisement for the game or even checked out a YouTube video. I only hear the excitement from the panel and nowhere else." You do not know about Doom, my friend. We have to give you a history lesson here. So the original Doom came out in 1993, and the reason we have the term Doom clone is because when that game dropped, every fucking first-person shooting game wanted to be Doom. Even though there is a pseudo story, you're not playing for the story. You're there to kill motherfucking demons. Demons on Mars, demons in hell, demons on Earth. The reason these games have been are still loved till this day is just because just fast, frenetic action, no bullshit to get in your way, just fuck demons up, and the gameplay's obviously superb and everything. For the 2000s, we didn't really. I think we had Doom 3. That's about it,
and that was a mess.
That was a mess. That was not good.
You couldn't even have the flashlight and the gun at the same time.
Yeah, that was not good.
Mods to do that.
Yeah,
How
so
did I get through?
that was a misstep, and then obviously we had to do 2016. That brought it back to more the original and stuff. Everybody loved it. The current 3 games we have are all great. But what people love about Doom is just fast, frenetic action, the music, the fucking metal. That was very inspirational back then too. Doom is one of the most well optimized games. I'm talking about the first one. Like that shit could run on a toaster, bro. I'm not even exaggerating.
I ran on everything.
Yeah, it could run on a PDF file.
I ran on Switch.
Yeah.
I was on Switch, and I was.
But that started the floodgates. Like we had Wolfenstein before that, and people really liked that. But when Doom came, everything was like, we need to be like this now. And the graphics were pretty intense back then because you had 3D backgrounds and you had like kind of 2D sprites and stuff. And then obviously that opened the doors for like Quake and shit like that. But again, the term
Crazy
Doom
guns.
clone, the term Doom clone exists for a reason. That shit was basically like the fucking Street Fighter 2 for first-person shooters. Yeah, there were other first-person shooters, but that's the shit that really solidified stuff. That's I would say Doom and Halo 10 years later almost were the big games that really solidified first-person shooters as you know them today. Halo clones, right? But Doom, games like Duke Nukem were like, yo, let's take Doom to the next level, So I don't know where you've been. You could be young, but just the fact that you've only heard the only people that you've heard talk about Doom is us. Very concerning there. You know, because that is a fucking classic franchise, bro. You know,
it's like mindless shooting also, because you don't have to worry about the story. There could be months, weeks, years you don't play, and then you pick it up and it's like, I got to get to point A, point B, and kill everything in between. That's it. You don't have to worry about, damn, what was the objective? What part did I need to unlock this puzzle? And shoot. None of that. Just go kill. The music ramps up. You need health, kill some more. Get some more health. That's how that works.
And there was ways to play it online. I remember. Through the moment, there was services to play a Doom online. I used to do that. I used to have LAN parties in school. And actually, I that's how I started learning to program. Is I started making Doom levels.
Nice.
In college.
Yeah, it taught a lot of people how to program, man. I'm telling you.
People wanted to get into it. It was fun. It's just mindless fun. That's it. You don't have to overthink it. A lot of games, they want to add, like you said before, story and dialogue, and we saw that with a lot of the other Doom clones and stuff. But then just when 2016, when that one came out, and that opening scene where the Doom Slayer wakes up, and then there's a prompter saying, "Hey, you have to do that," and he's just bashing and rips down his throat.
Fuck that.
It doesn't matter. My job is to kill all of those things. That's it. That's all I'm here to do. And that's just for the thing that I was just talking to the player. It's like, we know what you want. You just want to go kill. You don't care about this crazy story. You just want to go and kill. And that's it.
Do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube. There's probably millions of documentaries. Look up, Doom documentary. Find out about it, and also read the book Masters. I don't know, Adam. Have you read Masters of Doom? Talk about how how it created. That's a great book. If you like the Sega's book, you'll like this one as well. And it's shorter too. Doom is just an absolute classic franchise. So. Do yourself a favor. I would say, I would even say play the first 2 games. They still hold up. You could skip 3, fuck Doom 3, and then play the last ones that dropped.
They got those cleaned up version ones that came out last year.
That's right.
Man, just jump into the 2016 version.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest. The Doom from our childhood holds nostalgic value.
Yeah.
And that makes it better.
I'm not telling them to start with those, but I would still say don't skip them. Start with 2016 for sure.
Older Doom games are boomer shooters, right? But the 2016 Doom kind of reinvigorated things because everything was a cover shooter, and it kind of went the opposite direction. It's fast, it's high octane, and the reason that you're not, honestly, I don't think hearing about the Doom the Dark Ages one is a lot of people that I know that like the last 2 Dooms aren't as big of a fan as this one, so I don't think you have people going as crazy, but I'm still shocked that you haven't heard of Doom.
That's why I told you guys, let me finish this question because I'm like you haven't heard of Doom? That's like that. I am not exaggerating. But he says he's never heard of it outside of us talking about it here.
That's weird.
That's what he said.
He hasn't heard people praise it as much as we.
No, he said he hadn't heard people talking about the game at all, which is
not knowing Doom. I'm not even exaggerating. That's like not knowing Super Mario Brothers.
That's like one of the most famous game franchises.
It's a
ever.
It's a pillar franchise. Like it's a pillar franchise. Like without that franchise, games wouldn't be what they are today. I'm shocked you never heard of it. Outside of us. Wild, bro. But now you know that. Listen, one of the reasons I love doing this podcast is to educate people because there's a lot of ignorance in the gaming industry, man. People don't know their history. We're here for that,
That's why you have the elder gamers.
That's it, By the way, Brett, I always find that term boomer shooter very funny because I'm like, boomer, like video games didn't even exist during the boomer era.
For boomers, yes.
What are you talking about? My dad came up on Atari.
But I thought they came up because of the explosions. It was all about it's the shotgun sound and the things exploding. Boom, boom.
No. It's for baby boomers. It's for baby boomers. But I'm like, side tangent. I don't like the whole boomer term. Like, you realize that boomer is for people born between 1946 and 1964, right? Anyone outside of that is not a boomer. So you calling people boomers who weren't boomers makes you look like a fucking idiot.
But who do you think made Doom?
Probably Gen X guys, because they were born.
So? Yeah, John Carmack and Romero and all those guys, they were young.
Yeah, they were like
They were
in
in
their
their 20s.
20s. Yeah, they would have been born in
Yeah.
1964 after, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those
Well,
that's Gen.
that's-
So Brett, they should call it a Gen X shooter, or yeah, Gen X shooter. I could even accept millennial shooter, but Gen X shooter would probably be more accurate because the guys who made it were from Gen X. You know, definitely not boomers. Video games weren't even around in the fucking boomer era. You know,
Was there more? I could have sworn. Now that you bring all that, I could have sworn I saw with Carmack talking about he was working at a software company and he made this on the side and he kept playing it in house and then he's like, you know, fuck this. He quit his job and just kept focusing on. I think that was the story of it, and then id Software was created.
yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
I'll look this up real quick. He was born in 1970, so that guy's
There
definitely
you
not
go.
a
Yeah, he's
boomer.
good. Yeah,
Absolutely not a boomer. You know.
Yeah. I
All right.
still think it's just meant to be like derogatory. Like boomer's a placeholder for old.
Yeah. Oh,
which,
I
let's
know.
be honest.
But I'm still fighting back against it because I'm being very anal and like, you know, I'm being very anal about it. And like, no.
You know, I think that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that's fair.
Which is
boomers boomers are pretty much our parents.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, boomers are our parents. Yeah, you know. But no, Brett, I do realize that it's just a catch-all term for you know old, but I'm just being anal about it.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad he asked us though. Now we got to talk about old school Doom. All right. Another question from Mr. Black Viet. Black Vietnam, by the way, Black Vietnamese, not Black Soviet, as I thought. All right. Is there a game ending you saw when you were younger that didn't make any sense? For me, it was the ending of Metal Gear Solid 2, particularly the conversation with the AI. I was 16 when the game released, and I didn't understand what the AI was babbling about. But recently, I watched a YouTube video about how the AI from the game is describing the year 2025 back in 2001. Now I'm in awe of what I used to consider my least favorite Metal Gear game. There you go. You know?
You know, like at least for that title, I mean, I would also say that is my least favorite Metal Gear game, but
Yeah.
it's not because of the story point. It's because of the bait and switch
Right,
that nobody
and-
remembers now because nobody was there and nobody remembers that anymore. Because, you know, obviously time has been very kind to that game. But as far as like, here's the thing, like games from when titles started getting like plot complicated, we were already older.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like by the time, you know, like when you talk about Metal Gear Solid 2, most of us were either 20 or older.
Yeah, I was.
When that
Yeah,
game
you and I
came
were
out.
21. Yeah.
You were 21 when that game came out, you know? So like, I feel like we were pretty much like adults, like at that thing. Like even like, you know, like you go back a little further, like, you know, Final Fantasy 7, it's, you know, it's pretty, it can get a little screwy, but you know, it sort of has a very simple plot to it.
Yeah.
You know, it just has a lot of things in the way to make it seem a little bit more complicated than it is. So yeah, I can't exactly say I was really confused by any of the endings that I've gotten at the time, because I feel like I was
Well,
just
he's talking about
because I
in
was a
general.
little older.
We're talking about the totality. You know.
Beyond age, like as
Yeah.
far as confusing.
Yeah, if you need to, because he did say younger, but you're right. If you want to extend it, you know, because I'm also having, I'm pretty sure there is a game ending that confused me. I just can't remember it at the moment.
I mean, you know, some people say 5 had a weird ending, but I mean, it was fairly clear as to what that was about.
Yeah, it was just
You know, from Metal Gear 5.
it was just a badly done story. That's all it was.
Yeah, it's just a weird story. I mean, some people feel that Death Stranding has a pretty weird, like, undecisive ending, even though it seems to kind of wrap up pretty good.
Yeah, it wraps up.
I don't
It's
know.
fine.
I can't really think of anything. I mean, I feel like, actually, no. Any of the Souls games.
Well, you don't even know the plot, like the main.
No,
plot.
I mean there is a plot, but it involves a lot involves you doing quite a bit of homework in there. But if you're going in that game and you're just if you're going through any of those games, I mean, granted, I feel like Elden Ring has the most kind of clear thing to do, but yeah, like still, like, every single one of those games, like the moon presence, what the fuck? You getting turned into a slug at the end if you eat these two things? What? You know? But that's if you're only if you're not paying attention to what paying attention to the lore of the weaponry and the lore of and certain descriptions of things. Once you know that, then you're like, oh, okay, everybody's trying to become a god in this world, and each of them have different ways of getting to that final point. One of them, and then the most divine of them, which is what they want to be essentially an elder god, essentially a Cthulhu, which is what you turn into at the end of one of the endings. But yeah, I would say any of them, any of the Souls games.
Yo, man, that's a cop out. All right. I'll go down the line here. Adam, any game ending that confused you when you were a kid or younger?
Two of them. Final fight. What's up with Cody and that whole thing after they did all the stuff to get Jessica, and then he felt bitter, I guess, because of the other dude, the red ninja dude. I forgot his name. He was there.
Guy.
Guy kicks him in the face or some shit, and then it just ends.
Punches him.
He punches. Like, what the hell's up with that? And then Double Dragon, same thing. Two guys going after the girl, and it's like, nah, you know what? I want her. And then now it's like, you guys got to fight. It's like,
yes, you want to.
You must fight
for the woman.
Yeah, you must fight. And then something more recent, and it was only recent because it came up again when I played it. The Dead Space remake, when they cleaned that up, and that ending where you escape, but then your wife that turned into infected, whatever, she's on the bank, she attacks you, and then it ends. I wasn't sure. I was like, well, did she die before? I thought I saw her die, or is this just in his mind? Is the monolith still messing with him? But it's just the way. We find out more when the second game comes. But it's like, it was a weird ending for that. So because it made it seem like he got away, and then he was like, oh, everything is fine. And then he looks like, and then that was it. It's over. So those are my three.
All right. Brett, game endings that confused you when you were a kid. And even now.
I'm having trouble thinking of any. I feel like they were all pretty clear. Or ambiguous, and I just didn't care that much.
I think that may be the problem I'm having, Brett. I just didn't care enough. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's an ending. You know?
Like, it was always very different stories. Like, zombies ain't my neighbors. Like, there's zombies. The ending was like, they went away and things went back to normal. That was usually the narrative of like, and things went back to normal.
Yeah, or you're the hero.
Yeah.
Or the hero is you.
The hero is you. That's right.
Okay. I know one.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VI.
Ooh.
Because my childhood brain was unprepared for the idea that the entire world would be apocalypsed, and then there was no way to just put everything back together perfectly the way that it was before, if I'm remembering correct. Like you save kind of the world, but you more save what's left of it than save the whole thing. And it's just this weird concept of like, you didn't win. Like, you won, but you didn't win. And, usually things are very binary. They're very black and white. And so, like, salvaging something from the ashes and having hope even after things got wrecked was a very different and almost kind of depressing yet optimistic point of view from the classic, like, we saved everybody in the nick of time. Like, because you didn't save everybody in the nick of time. Not in 6, you didn't.
No, you're 100% right. It's like the main plot of the game was like, stop the bad guy from destroying the world and becoming God. Oh, shit, he destroyed the world and became a god. And then, like, okay, you finally defeat him. It's like, yeah, but the world's still all fucked up. You're right. Not a lot of games did that back then. Before, it was always like, you stop the bad guy. You are the hero. No, you're right. Final Fantasy VI, bruh. That's a great game.
Still one of my top 5.
Yeah. And Brett, just to prove your point, because I never played it originally, right? I never played a game originally. I first played it when I was fucking, 40 years old during the pandemic. First time. I'm like, this game is fucking amazing. Just to prove it's not nostalgia, you know?
Oh, yeah, dude. Like Kefka. Kefka is one of my favorite villains. Kefka, like, you want to see a villain that, like this dude's a fucking psychopath, and I do not like. He makes the Joker look sane. I do not know what this motherfucker's gonna do next.
Kefka likes being evil. There's no weird backstory with him, no complicated thing you talk about. He's just an evil bastard. That's all. Yeah. That's great. Oh man, I fucking laugh. All right, Brian, any games that confused you when you were a kid or even recently?
I'm happy to go with Manny's answer. Metal Gear Solid 2. I honestly did not understand the ending. It just felt like an hour of exposition. I was like, I just don't understand. It's like before this, I was on a tanker fighting people that can't be shot, fighting a fat man on rollerblades, swimming underwater, and now something about the internet and misinformation. It's like, I don't understand. Like, where did this come from?
The game definitely sort of foreshadows a lot of that about whole misinformation and all of that sort of thing. But I think what adds to the confusion of that game, and I think it's purely because of, let's just face it, 9/11 itself, because there's a whole portion of that game that was like cinematic of where the Arsenal gear slams into the bottom of downtown Manhattan, and right next to the Twin Towers, and they removed the whole sequence there. So it's almost like a dream. You go from, going toward New York, and then all of a sudden it just fades in, and then you're already at that location.
Like Federal Hall, right?
At Federal Hall. There's also like weird things, like you see all these people walking around. There was just this big, huge accident that happened, but for some reason there's a bunch of people walking in the background, like nothing's wrong. So it's a lot of things that they did to, like, so in other words, it's try, like they did, Kojima did, to be like, okay, maybe we could do something a little bit different to try to hide this. But yeah, I think that's what I feel like might add to a little bit of the confusion. And then also how quickly the revelations come behind each other. 1 minute it's like, no, it's the solid snake simulation. No, it's, S3 is this, like these things happen right back to back when they should have been split apart by something that was a bit longer in between.
Yeah, it's a good point. Chris, what about you?
Oh, when I was a kid, there was a few games. I mean, I think Zelda 2 confused me because you had like a cop-out boss fight. Like the boss is just a mirror match. Dark Link is just you, just the player, and you just have to outdo yourself. And then for some reason, it's like, oh, you need the Triforce again to wake up Zelda, but it's a different Princess Zelda. I'm like, wait, this is supposed to be the same Link. You tell me there's another Princess Zelda who's asleep, who needs a Triforce to wake up. So what happened to the other one from the first game?
Welcome to the multiverse.
And why am I getting the Triforce again? I already pieced that shit together in the first game. I don't know. It was very weird and confusing. The whole story was bizarre. There was other games that, like, Konami was getting licenses left and right. I remember another game I liked as a kid was The Goonies 2. Yeah. Which I thought would be a sequel to the movie. Except it just takes shit from the movie and then does absolutely weird shit. Like, the whole point of it is to rescue Annie, who was a girl in the movie, but for some reason in the game she's a mermaid. She's like a literal mermaid.
What the fuck?
And you have to rescue from the Fratellis who kidnapped her. And it's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Like, what the hell is happening? It was just bizarre. Yeah, that game confused the shit out of me. It's like Konami had a vague idea of the movie and then just went hog wild with it.
Oh, man. All right. Rich, what about you?
Yeah, I believe Metal Gear Solid 2, still confused about that ending, even after watching videos to get a better explanation. Phenomenal game, though. And I want to give an honorable mention to Tony's favorite game ever released called Death Stranding. Listen, I reviewed Death Stranding. I still don't know what the hell that game is about.
I
got
enjoyed
dead
the
whales.
packages.
It's got dead
That's
whales.
it.
Yeah.
Packages.
I mean, obviously,
according to Kojima, if you play the new one, you'll know exactly what happened.
Oh no, yeah, you got to.
oh really? Oh, okay,
Yeah,
all right. Well,
you have a companion piece for 2.
so that's good. I look forward to that, getting that information. And the thing is, I think I've mentioned this in the past. I actually was doing delivery work around the time that I reviewed this game, because this was during the pandemic. So that was quite an interesting experience. You know, I got to deal with horrible customers, and then I go to play a game and I see what happens when the delivery doesn't go right. So it's very, very, very good similarities there. But no,
it causes some sort of apocalyptic giant a crater in the ground, apparently, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's what,
very interesting game, though. Very interesting. Yes.
All right. Last couple of questions here from M73. Not familiar with that one, so that's cool. Always like to see new names.
That sounds like a chemical.
It does, right? Actually sounds like a gun, you know? M73.
I'm using the M73.
The M17, M16,
yeah.
M13.
So it reminds you of a weapon. All right. This one's interesting. Might be a little controversial. Am I the only one who would be relieved if they stopped making gaming consoles, with the Game Pass app on TVs and SteamOS being available on non-Valve handhelds? I'm glad I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on a console to get a console-like experience. We have to accept that this is the future. Ooh. A lot of people aren't going to like that question, you know?
Yeah, I can already see our chat going nuts over that one.
Yeah.
No,
Except the future where you don't own anything. That seems to be the deal here.
Yeah, but to be fair, though, go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
I know that our very good friend Carlos isn't here, but maybe Adam can confirm this. Adam, didn't Carlos tell us a couple days ago he tried to play, Game Pass on a LG or one of the TV monitors?
Yeah,
it
that
absolutely was
supports it,
horrible.
and it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work. The app was glitchy, and the performance was horrible. So it's just not there. You still need the TV to have good resources to support all this that's being fed into it, and it looks like it's not there yet. It's just a generic app, and they're hoping that everything gets done in the cloud, and it's just not that experience yet. So maybe one day it'll get there, and they will be comparable to a console experience. But right now, it's not there.
Yeah, well, that's what you're saying in the future. And again, to be fair to the question, it's something we have said that probably in 20 years there probably won't be any consoles. It'll just be, if you're lucky, maybe a little box or something. But it'll probably be something we can't even imagine, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, listen, if that works for you, man, that's great. You're saving yourself money. Although I still suspect you own a console now. You already spent that money. But no, as they say, it's good to have options. And I don't think in the immediate future, again, we're going to have another console generation. We know that for a fact. And I don't think they'll ever fully go away. Maybe the consoles will just become smaller in form factor. But there's always going to be, even if it becomes niche, there's always going to be a desire for something physical. And who knows? Maybe if it all blows up in our faces, maybe things will just turn back around. We'll go back to physical again. Who knows?
Why I never understood with we know Sony. I don't know. Do they still make TVs?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Sony brought
Yeah, Sony does.
And so they have their own cloud and all that stuff. Then just have that embedded and do it right, because you're already dealing with the hardware. You're manufacturing the hardware. You're not worried about like LG or another third party, Samsung, trying to incorporate it and to really make it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Microsoft. They really want to push Game Pass and say, oh, look, it's on all these devices, even your TV. Well, the TV experience is not great right now. You make it great. Make one new TV. Doesn't have to keep doing it. Just make one good TV with that application running on it, and then it'll set the standard. Sort of like what we saw with Steam and with the Steam Deck, right? Their whole thing, Valve was like, hey, we can make this work. Nobody wants to do it. All right, fine. We'll make the hardware with everything and prove that it can work and that this could be successful. And then if they do that, then all the other ones all match it and be like, oh, that's how you do it? Oh, okay, we could do it. Because it looks like they think, oh, well, we'll just add a bunch of widgets, just like we do with all the movies and music streaming. So it'd just be another widget. But no, you need more behind it. So just make your TV. Microsoft, just do it.
Microsoft TV. Oh man.
Oh, why not? Why not? It's just a damn big screen, right? It's just a big screen, and just have some widgets.
Yeah.
But it's more suited toward. I mean, how many times? I don't know the last time you bought a router, but for a long time, if you went to buy a router, it would have a little Xbox logo on it, seal. What the hell is that? It's like, oh, it just means that the config files are on there to automatically open the port needed for your console.
Oh,
so once
cool.
you go and plug in, it's all set up for you, so you shouldn't have it should reduce latency and all kinds of stuff. And that seal. So these companies are thinking ahead as Microsoft and sending out the proper configs and things like that to make things work. But if the TV experience, if they're trying to do Game Pass and really focus on like, hey, we're getting out of the hardware space, for the majority of it, and we're just going to push into this space, well, then just lead the charge and make one TV, I don't know, decent size. I'm like, boom, take a look. This is it. This is what we envision our Game Pass experience, and make their own. How about this? Make a modified version of the Roku interface. You ever seen Roku? You have a Roku? Anybody have Roku?
And I have a Roku. I'm on my television. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. That Roku, they wound up selling off their OS, and a bunch of TVs and stuff have that as their OS, and then they can just license that on. Microsoft could have one in like big green logo, whatever. First button is Game Pass. There's ways to do it. Stop being lazy.
10. All right. And the last question we have here: will cross saves between different platforms ever become universal?
Nope.
So it's weird. It's a weird one because some offer it and some don't.
Yeah. The question he kind of, I had to edit a little bit, but he made it seem like, oh, will the dream ever come true? We have it for some games, but it's not universal. Like for example, if you have an Xbox game, you can kind of jump between PC and Xbox and such. But
Xbox, like any of their games, any of their titles, they all, like any of their first party titles or any of those things, they all update themselves. So if you're playing any of their games, they automatically update and they work on the PC version, so you can jump back and forth.
Valhalla did it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla did it, but
yeah,
it didn't work like that for Division. And they said the same thing. Oh, the reason why we're able to do in Valhalla is because you're connecting to our servers and we're managing everything. Well, the same shit happens with the Division. As long as Division 1.
Yeah, like the thing about it is like if you're logging into that server, like I was saying, like I was a little disappointed I couldn't, go bring over my Hi-Fi Rush data, or any of the data from, I don't know if Indiana Jones updates across things. I know you get Chivos across platform, but yeah, it'd be, especially since a lot of these games have you logging in, like Grand Theft Auto had it, right?
To a point. They had it for if you were on the same generation. So I mean, the same platform. So if let's say you had a PS4 and a PS5 version, then it would let you port it over. But if I was on the PS5 and I wanted to port over my Xbox one, it wouldn't do that. The only thing that it did let you port from the other platform is your online character. Because I reviewed that one when they did that. But like, oh yeah, you could port over your stuff. And I checked it out. I'm like, no, it's not like you're promoting it. There's limitations to it. I thought, yeah, that'd be great because I beat it at the time on the PlayStation 4, and then they had sent it for the Series X version. I was like, oh, then let me just copy that over. And then a big message pops up. It's like, nope, it's only within the same ecosystem. So I had to have had it from the Xbox One to carry over. But your online profile, it lets you sign in and it'll see it once you sign in through. And then it's like, hey, is this you? It's like, yes. So it did see my character, my created character, online character from the PS4. And then I was able to bring that over to the Series X version. So,
yeah. By the way,
that's not a smooth.
Yeah. Shout out to Carlos who made it here. What's going on, Carlos? See if he says something. There he is.
Yo.
What's going on, man? How's Vegas treating you?
Oh man, I'm down like $500.
Damn. You gotta set a limit. You gotta set a limit. You gotta set a limit for yourself.
Yo, man. Here's the thing. I went earlier to I thought I was like, okay, this is fate. There's a Game of Thrones themed what's it called?
Slot machine?
Machine, yeah. And I'm like, all right. this is where I'm gonna post most of my money. Nothing, man.
Just
The
like
moral of the
just
story
like the
here
ending,
is
just like the
screw
ending of
George
the
R. R.
TV
Martin.
show.
How much was it though? How much was it? What do you was it
It was 100.
like it was 100 each pull? He's damn.
No. The entire thing. They had
Oh,
different
okay.
different variation amounts you can bet.
Okay.
But yeah, man. I tried to join in earlier, but it was probably gonna be too noisy.
It's all good.
What time is it where you're at?
Like
It's
10,
like
I think.
you're 2 hours.
9:30.
9:30.
Oh yeah, because he's the
Yeah,
West Coast
got it.
time. By the way, Carlos, we did have a question for you. I'll ask you now. Have you played the? Actually, you probably haven't, but I'll ask it. Have you played the Nightreign game, Elden Ring?
No, I have not. That's a very wonderful question. I haven't had the chance. The only way I play the game is if I know people that are gonna play it, like personally, like if you, Chris, or someone else, Brian, or someone else gets the game.
You missed it. Chris already gives it a thumbs down, and Brett's like, I'm good.
Oh,
So yeah, you could skip that one.
I did see. I did see our homeboy posting on our
J-Boy,
on our
yeah.
chat. Shout out to J-Boy, and I'm like, damn, no one responded. I guess that's not a good sign.
Yeah, man. By the way, we actually do have one more question. Adam, this one's for you.
This one's for me.
From our boy Reggie, Weapon X.
Oh shit.
He wants to know: is there snow in the Division Brooklyn DLC?
No, there is not. It's like during the fall and stuff, so it's a different season. There is no snow. No snow.
Does that disappoint you?
Not so much. I mean, I just like the scenery. I like the locations. It looks good. It feels empty though. I feel sad. I guess because I'm playing solo. They did not send a bunch of codes, and I know other people said they were going to jump in, and they haven't picked it up. So unless I want to play with randos, it's not the same experience. That's the whole thing.
You don't want to play with
it looks
suckers.
great. Yeah, it looks fun. I was playing some yesterday. It was all right. I just feel lonely.
Oh man. By the way, Carlos, Dirty Death Dealer says that Dirty Bird is in Vegas, so maybe you want to go visit him.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Torrens.
Torrens, shut up, Shaz.
Shut up, Shaz. Oh man. All right, man, we're done here. So let's start plugging some stuff. Adam, TV Terminal.
TV Terminal. Beep, 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 beep. Got a lot of stuff going on there. Just posted up Mobland, the season 1 finale. Hopefully there's a season 2 based off of numbers and stuff. I think there will be. That's a fantastic show. We're also up to date on Murderbot. So if you're into Murderbot, that's another fantastic show. Been covering that. And we got some other things coming. We got Revival, we got Chief of War, and on Dexter, all kinds of stuff. So if you're into those type of shows, check it out. TV Terminal. You can type in as one word on YouTube, or you could find it also. A lot of them linked through the Coalition, and you'll find it there. And then there you go. A lot of TV. That's what that channel's about. A lot of TV. So
all right. And speaking about the Coalition, Rich, I know you guys are gonna have a very busy week this week. So what's coming up next on the Coalition, and for you?
Yes, that is a phenomenal question, Tony. First and foremost, Mr. Adam Vale, Carlos Romero, and myself, we have posted the latest episode of The Walking Dead, Dead City, I Am Negan podcast. Definitely check it out. Let us know your thoughts on the show. I will tell you that our discussion is far more entertaining than any Walking Dead show right now. So definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. As for the Coalition, it will be an understatement to say it is going to be an extremely busy week. And not just a busy week. I would say it's going to be a busy month. Starting from this month on, from this day onward, I'm going to be doing a lot of gaming stuff. Obviously, I will be going to Summer Game Fest. We have a lot of things that I will be getting hands-on time with. I also received a few things prior to Summer Games Fest that I will be covering around the same time. So definitely stay tuned to the website. There'll be a couple of different things. That's all I can really say. I can't talk about any other games, but I'll just say, yeah, I will have a lot to say. I can say this. I will be arriving in LA on Thursday night. Hopefully I will be able to jump on to the show depending on the time, because I don't know if their flight is going to get changed. So yeah, definitely will try to come in. I can't guarantee that I will be here next Sunday, but I would encourage you all to definitely leave some questions that you have. And obviously I will answer those questions in the future, maybe the following Thursday or the following Sunday. So definitely I would encourage you to do that.
Yeah.
But overall, stay tuned.
Yeah, no, you're right. We'll definitely do a Summer Game Fest post-mortem on the following Thursday. So even though it's not a question show, we will take questions because that'll be a good wrap-up of everything we've seen. But yeah, like Rich said, Summer Game Fest is coming. We will be doing a live stream of the Xbox presentation on Sunday. I believe that's at 1 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned for that. And it's gonna be a crazy week, people. Stay tuned, And man, you have anything before we head out of here?
I mean, it's just the usual thing. That's it'll still be available. So right now, it's just the G.I. Joe reprint of issue 21, which is a Silent Interlude, which is on Skybound, or you can go to your local comic book store and pick it up as well. Fun stuff. Larry Hama classic G.I. Joe stuff. So that's out in the streets right now. And obviously I said there will be more nostalgia things coming. So stay tuned for those.
Lots of stay tuned around here, man. Got goodies coming for you guys. All right, man, we're done here. So make sure you follow us on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube, join the Discord, and check us out on your favorite podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch.
Take it easy, people.
Adam Vale.
Yeah, have a good week, everybody.
Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everyone.
And Brian Manjoma.
So you're telling me that Del Toro made a Frankenstein movie?
Yes. And it's coming to Netflix. So
let's do this.
Yeah, straight to video.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right, guys, we'll see you on Thursday. Later.
Later.